Hey guys, Aru here from Plunge Enterprises New Zealand, from Plunge Studios, from Plunge Indie Comic Book Convention, as well as the Sunspot magazine that we're going to be bringing out. The Sunspot magazine, Sunspot magazine, no, Sunspot, the comic book and pop culture magazine for adults. So those are the three things that we do, and we're aiming to do, and we're doing. So I'm going to stop saying because I have a tendency to say that. All right, so I haven't made any sort of proper video regarding this apart from snippets and stuff about Plunge. So I thought I've been thinking about it for the last week or so. Sit down and really tell you guys how things are going, and things are going really well. Quite excited. Gosh, there I go with my arms. Quite excited. Everything is going to plan. Everything is where it needs to be. As I, posted earlier on, that we've got all our speakers sorted. All our speakers sorted. Got all our caterers sorted. Got our convention hall sorted. We got all the things we need to do to make it work sorted. The only thing we sort of need right now is for you guys to let me know if you're coming. If you're coming, jump on Eventfund, buy a ticket. They're really cheap. The reason they're cheap is because I want you to come. There's no point of making things expensive and you sort of go, well, I bought a ticket now to buy things that I like. So I want as many people to come as possible. That's why the ticket's only $5 for general admission, right? Family tickets are $10. I mean, up to 5 people. So you could bring in 3 kids, or 3 teenagers, and 2 parents, 2 adults, and you still get in for $10. You can't beat that. That's probably the best thing. The other thing is, like I said, it's $5 for a general admission ticket. That is, if you're an adult, $5. 12 and over, $5. That's it. $5 for 12 and over. So if you're a 60-year-old, still $5. But if you're 12 and under, it's a gold coin, $1 or $2. So if you want to come to Plunge, it's that cheap. It's that cheap because, like I said, I want you guys to come. I want you to bring your family. It's on a Saturday. Because it's on a Saturday, what else are you going to do in town for that long? Go do your shopping, come back, and have fun with your friends, with your family, and hang out with us. Now let's talk about cosplay. I've been working the last week or so on this. Actually, it's been a bit longer. I never thought it would take me that long to make an Iron Man, Infinity Gauntlet. Seriously, it took me so long. I couldn't believe how long it would take. And this is my second attempt, right? So it's very light, and it's foam, and I'm about to paint it all white so that my the person I'm giving this gift as a gift to, that's the reason it's been made. Not for the event, but for that. And now, I appreciate how long it takes to make cosplay. So it's going to be painted all white, so that him and his dad can basically paint it the way it's supposed to be painted for Iron Man, right? With Infinity Gauntlet. So I basically made it so he could put his fingers in it, or his dad could put his hands in it, right? So it's movable. That was a weird thing about trying to make that. So if you're a cosplayer, there are no rules apart from just be mindful it's a family event. Mindful that we don't want anything that looks, it's a standard Armageddon sort of cosplay thing, right? So you're not going to go in with something metal. You're not going to come in with something wooden, not something pointy and sharp, because kids could get hurt. Adults could get hurt. I could walk into it and poke my eye out, if I don't have my glasses, I could still poke my eye out. If you walk into something sharp. So be mindful if you're coming dressed up, and I want you to come dressed up. I mean, it's going to be really cool for the kids to see you guys dressed up. And especially since you guys spent so much effort in making a cosplay. I mean, seriously, if you're making a costume, this took me 2 weeks almost, right? It took me hours just to do one hand. Seriously, one hand, almost 2 weeks. So if you're coming as a cosplayer, man, we've got spot prizes for that, and there's going to be so much that's there that we're going to hand out to you guys for making, coming in and doing that. If you're a young kid, if you're a parent and you want to bring your young kids dressed up, that's amazing. Just do it. Come dressed up in whatever. Come in a onesie. Yeah, come in a Luke Skywalker onesie or Spider-Man onesie. It's all good. Bring your kids in that. Hey, why not put on your own onesie if you're mum and dad? Support your children in that. Because this is a family event for that whole purpose, to get our kids into writing, into appreciating books, appreciating comic books, appreciating art, because art has so much importance in our society, and we seem to not care that much about art, but yet everything around us is art, and has an artistic value to it, has a monetary value to it, and that's what I want to this whole event's about, to show that if you're a 7-year-old kid that you have, and that's where I work from, if you have a 7-year-old child and he's thinking, what I want to do in life, because what shall I enjoy? What can I enjoy? And maybe if I enjoy enough, that I'll go into being a teenager and doing it, being an adult doing it. Next thing you know, going to uni and doing art or literature or writing, all those things, or being a teacher for which is amazing, and just all the different things that comic books has an effect on. And I was speaking to a bank manager, right, our business bank manager, a couple of weeks ago, and she said, in Philippines, she read comic books, right? So here's a 40-year-old person in Philippines and remembering that she read a comic book, right? So these are the things that we want to put across, that it's okay to enjoy books. It's okay to read, because a lot of things, hard words and stuff we learn come in comic books. Because as long as I've read comic books, it's always been learning new words and learning new things through it, and learning right and wrong, sort of things, and what's good, what's a hero, what's not, and what's a villain, and what's not. And I think the greatest things right now, as you see around us, is all the amazing movies that are coming out from it, based around it. But they all have their basis in comic books. Most of the billion-dollar movies are in comic books based stories. So you can see that, you can go as far as Hollywood with the idea of acting in it, and the idea of actually being the person who cooks the food for that, because someone decided to put pen to paper and draw some characters like Spider-Man, right, or Iron Man, or Thanos. All these amazing characters created by great writers, back in the 90s, back in the 80s, way back when I was a kid, growing up reading it. And so those things, even when I was growing up, Tintin was one of the big things for me. Obelix was a big thing for me. So that sort of has stuck with me, because it taught me how to read, and it taught me how to figure out what the meaning was. If I didn't know what the meaning was for a word, I'd look it up in a dictionary. Like what did this word mean? Even if I'm reading I remember right now, sitting in Auckland, listening to Megadeth, and there's a word in there, bereft of heart and soul, in one of the I think it was Rust in Peace album. All right, and I said to my dad, I said, what does that mean? He goes, without something, not having that. And so I want Plunge to be with something, right? Passion, meaning, and being the opposite of without something, being the opposite of bereft. I want this event to be about, the heart of it is about teaching our kids, creating an avenue for our kids into arts, into writing, into literature. If you're a parent, bring your kids to Plunge and be there with them. When they ask you questions, ask us if you don't know, right? The problem is, a lot of times when kids ask questions, they just go look it up on Google. Okay, that's fine, but sometimes it's not the right, it's not the proper way of explaining things. And for me, it's always like, okay, let me figure out and let me get back to you. If I don't know, we can look at Google, but hey, let's discuss what we're doing. And so this is where this thing came from. One of my family members, I don't like talking about my family members on Facebook or anything else without their consent. So I went and saw Infinity God, all three, Infinity Wars, Endgame, Infinity Wars, Endgame, and then went for the one night. I think it was Mother's Day, and went to dinner, and he was there putting all these things together, and it was all about the whole Thanos, Infinity Gauntlet. And I was like, he was saying, which are the stones? What stones? I mean, I didn't even know the stones, and because I'd read it a long time ago, even with just being to the movies, I can remember. And so we're sitting there playing around with it, and I thought, well, his birthday's coming up, so I thought we'll make that. And then, lo and behold, I learned how to make a cosplay Infinity Gauntlet for Iron Man, because I thought the other one was kind of because it's just gold, right? But if you make an Iron Man one, it's got a lot more color and a lot more awesomeness to it, mechanicalness to it. Anyway, robotics. So come to Plunge, and let me know how many of you guys are coming, because like I said, go to Event Finder, jump on there, so I know how many are coming. Buy tickets so I know how many people are coming, because we've got some amazing people who are supporting us. Like, okay, let me do a proper shout out to all our folks that are actually part of this. Rising Sun Comics, right? Rising Sun Financial, the publishing wing of what we're doing as a comic book producer here in Whangarei, their publisher, Creative Northland, you got Lenny, you got Briar, of course you got Hinu down there, just setting it all up. And of course this whole event got started with Hinu asking me a question, almost, over a year ago, have I ever thought of, what it was, my interest, had I thought about doing a convention for comic books? Here we are. All because someone asked me a question, and I thought, yes, I had thought about that when we had this comic shop open, way back in 2014, 15. That was our aim, to actually go towards a convention, go towards doing all these things locally, because we want to support our kids locally, because if you're traveling 2 hours and back, that's 4 hours of your day gone. But if you're doing it locally, 45 minutes out of, half an hour out of Daigava or whatever, 45 minutes out of Morawa, an hour, I guess it's an hour and a half, something from Kaitaia, Kaikoe, another hour, I guess, all the, just in our area. So I got asked last week whether I wanted to do it in Auckland, and I'm like, no, because I want to support our community. I want to do it here in Northland, and maybe we'll move out to Paihia, maybe we might move out to Kaikoe sometime, maybe we'll go up to Daigava, and, sorry, not Daigava, we'll go up to Kaikoe, sorry, not Kaikoe, Kaitaia, right, in the years to come. So we'll move around a bit, but Northland is my passion. This is where I grew up, this is my home, and this is where I want to put Plunge on for years to come. But, got to support the first one, right? If you support the first one, we can see it's happening, it's worthwhile doing for us. And let me get back to our, and so we've already got interest for next year, right? We've already got people going, we're keen for next year. We're keen for next year to come over as vendors. We're keen to come and support, come up and as artists and support. And so because everybody plans a year in advance, we kind of started at the start of the year. That meant that their plans had already been made. This is the way our industry works. So, right, back to shout-outs. Te Kōwhai Print, right, has been amazing. Hamish over there has been amazing with support. He's doing our special prints. Now, these are quite expensive prints if you get it done, because they're handmade. And he's going to be showing all these amazing stuff that they make, handmade prints that they do, old-style printing, books together, back to Creative Northland. They're providing us all the equipment and all the tables, the chairs. We need to make it work. So that takes away a huge amount of expenses that we would have otherwise. Let's see, the library's coming in with a printer and putting on the amazing stuff they do with like badges. So if you bring kids, they can make their own badges. So it's a hands-on thing for our event. So you get to see how to do things and actually experience how to do things as well. Of course, our speakers. We've got 10 speakers all up. We might actually have more than that. Of course, I'm not going to be speaking, which I'm glad about, because at the start I was going to be speaking, and so was Shane, and we're like, no, because we'd rather be walking around talking to people. And so we filled up the speakers, and so it's awesome. So quite excited. We've got about 3 speakers from America via Skype, of course, because it expenses, right? Hopefully sometime in the future we'll be able to actually bring some speakers over, from all over the place. And that's all about growth, right? In time. So who else? Volunteering Northland. Volunteering Northland is providing us with volunteers, and we're so excited about that. Trish Clark over there. Ryan Donaldson from Youth Space is also providing us with speakers. With volunteers. So, none of these things can work without volunteers, because sometimes you can't pay everybody's expenses, and you can't sort of do a guesswork. This is how much we're going to make, so we can pay you this much. So having volunteers is awesome, and I've been a volunteer for so long. I mean, I used to be a youth worker for about 6 years. Youth worker, so putting 20 hours a week or more for 5 years, and then another year for paid. So as a youth worker, so I understand the importance of volunteers, because having been one. Also, I understand, putting on an event and having the support base to make it work. So we've got a lot of amazing support in the community, and that's what I love about our community. It's been amazing support. Now, talking of which, I just had it. Julia Tapp from Northland Arts Centre. Now, if you know Julia, and if you know her passion for what she does, she's an amazing artist, airbrush artist, and also an amazing teacher. So she's going to have her own little area, and where she's just going to be out there, there to just face paint, body art, whatever you want. She's there for free to do. And so she's going to come over, and whatever you decide, if you want to have Spider-Man painted on your face, if you want to have fake tattoos, whatever you decide, she's able to do, because she's an amazing artist. So if you haven't been to Northlands Arts Centre, go down there. And mum and dad, if you've got kids who want to learn about how to be an artist, or want to see how it works, or just try out, she has classes. So, and they're very cheap. So yeah, Julia Tapp, check it out at Northern Arts Centre. Who else we got? Of course, our venue. We're excited to have it at 116, because last year I spent so much time there with the radio, with Mike. I'll get to Mike as well, just as I remember. Mike Batur is our panel host. Now, Mike is a writer, fantasy and fiction writer, and he's also a journalist. And so he's a friend of mine who I only met through a year and a half ago, and so I'm quite excited to have Mike jump in and take on board the speaking role event, because that means that it's just frees us up, who are organizing it, to say, okay, somebody else is taking care of that, and that's a huge job, right? So it's, as I said, we've got 10 speakers, so you're looking at about 2 speakers for every hour that we have. So having Mike come and do that is an amazing, awesome opportunity for us to have, and it's just a privilege to have someone else take on board that huge role. We also, as you know, we'll be live streaming, and we'll have Shane Davis, Shane Harris from Rage Culture, organizing the sound equipment for that, and making sure that we have all this happening live streaming. We're still in talks to get live streaming with Low Budget Brotherhood. Andrew McKenzie there, just sorting that out at the moment, making sure that we're actually able to do it properly, and being able to do it on Twitch, on YouTube, and Facebook, because I know that some people can't make it, and even myself, sometimes I want to be at events and I can't be at events because it's just travel, or if it's far away. Sometimes just being able to watch it live or watch it later that's been recorded, that's awesome. So we're going to be recording all our stuff as well, so that the interviews, our panel guests and stuff, and the other thing, just as I remember, we have the warehouse who've given us some prizes for raffles and stuff. We have some, geez, I forgot it now. Other folks that have actually given us prizes for it. Oh, just remember, event cinemas who have given us double passes for spot prizes. So that's awesome. Our local, our guys at the cinemas are amazing. I always, they're just great. They just always have time to talk and stuff. And last year they supported the shop when we were at Itchy Trigger Finger, and they basically they gave us tickets to give away as well for the raffles, and we were so excited about that because that helped us a lot, because it just because we gave away movie tickets, that's $30 per and straight up, so you're able to, anything we sort of are getting is a huge support to us, because we're just going to pass that on, or we're going to put in raffles, and so that way it's benefit to you guys for coming. It just means that you're coming, but you're actually not only having a good time, you're actually getting stuff back, right? The other thing is, for the tickets, we actually take off our print. Hopefully I mentioned that we're getting 3 specially hand printed limited edition prints. So they're about A5 size. So they're around about that size, right? So they're specially made prints, hand printed, red, black, and white, on special paper, Japanese paper, and so that when you buy a ticket, you get this. So you can, if you buy the ticket through Event Finder, you get this, right? So we're actually giving you something that's valued around $10 for free for buying a ticket that's $5, right? So, or you're getting a more specialized one from our American, from Rising Sun Comics, Armadillo Justice print, if you buy the $10 ticket for families. So we're actually giving you back, if you use that, giving back the prize money, basically, if you use Event Finder to do it. So because the whole thing is to let us know how many people are coming, because at the end of the day, we have getting to which, Amber Wallace Caterer, Amber Wallace Caterer and personal staff. Another friend of mine who's going to be looking at the kitchen. He's going to do cafe style food, and so we actually have a cafe there for you guys to come and enjoy. We also have coffee and tea, all that, and we'll have, of course, soft drinks. So the whole event is set up to make it like a mini, I guess, Armageddon, because I love Armageddon. I'm looking forward to Armageddon this year. So hopefully I'll go dressed up as where is he? He's not here. He's on the other side. Yeah, I don't have him. But we go dressed up as Red Dot, right? And I had the mask at Itchy last year, so I'm quite excited. So hopefully, because now that I know how to make foam, I put together foam arm, right? The rest is easy because it's bigger, because he's got a body arm, so huge sort of, let me see if you can see it, right? Anyway, so basically got body armor, which is big, bulky stuff, not tiny little, dinky little things like this. He wears gloves, so it's not this hard, man. This was tough. This was really tough. Hours and hours of. I think I put on minimum 60 hours on this thing, and on and off, because, yeah, the pain. Um, so thank you for watching. Please share the video, right? Just share the link to it, so that people can understand that we're on track. Everything's good. Oh, story time. Story time is also coming. All right. So they're gonna have a venue there. If you're an artist and if you still haven't decided whether to come or not, hey, before I go, let me mention it's 1.8 table by 900 wide, right? Yeah, 1.8 by 900 wide. It's $125 for 5 hours. All right, so you're hiring a table for 5 hours. All right, that's very cheap. Seriously, that's very cheap. I've paid up to about $800 for a table over a weekend. Yeah, and walked away with $800 in my pocket. So I understand, if as a vendor, as a merchant, how costly it can be to put on, go to an event and not know if you're gonna come back. So that's why it's cheap. Or half that size, right? A meter table, right? $75. So if you have comics at home and you want to sell, hey, bring them along. If you've got pop culture items you want to sell, if you've got drawings, if you're an artist, if you want to do, this is the place to do it at. All right, we're 3 weeks out. Decide whether you want to get involved or not, because we want as many people involved as possible. We want you to come along and be part of it. Of course, that's why it's cheap. So it's $75 or $125 for the bigger table. 1.8 for 125, 75 for half that size, right? So that's also the wall behind you, all right? So you could base all side of you, So basically, I think I'm on a 70 size table here. So 70 wide, sorry, I should say. So, it's up to you to see if you value what you do, and if you're in our pop culture medium, if you're a geek or a nerd, if you make little little figurines, or if you knit, if you knit pop culture, what do you call that? I can't remember now. If you knit, figurines or whatever, plushies or whatever, if you make badges, if you make stickers, if you draw, right? Of course, if you paint, if you make postcards, if you make collages out of pop culture items, so, or if you're a cosplayer and you want to show off all your photos that you have of cosplay, these are things to be involved in this. And I think for us, we do have a community. Oh, which reminds me, community. So Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So we got Yu-Gi-Oh tables. We're gonna have tables for Pokemon, because Jason, of course, is a huge Pokemon person. If you know, he's part of us. He's part of Plunge. So we've got Yu-Gi-Oh, we've got D&D happening. I almost forgot. So Sean Stanley, shout out to him, and Luke Kennedy for Yu-Gi-Oh and D&D. Quite excited for these guys to be involved with us. We've been friends for 2014, and so I'm just so glad to be having them involved as well, because it's a shop, right? It goes back to comic trade shop, where we had all these things happening, and sadly had to shut it down, and then shut myself down for 2 years as well, and now for the last year and a half we're back. Here we are, putting out comics, of course, Rising Sun comics again. We've got a whole bunch of Rising Sun comics for sale, right? So, and if, like I said, if you're into manga, if you have manga comics, mangas, shouldn't call them comics because they're manga, right? So if you got manga books to sell, you have a whole bunch of them you want to get rid of, why not buy a table for $75 and have that to sell, for sale, I should say. So if you're a writer, and if you're in the whole pop culture environment, if you write sci-fi, bring your books up, put a poster up for sale. This is the place to do things that are part of art or around pop culture, right? Comic books or pop culture. That's what we're about with Plunge. That's what we're about with Comic Trade. So yeah, so we're in talks at the moment to have anime mystery bags. So you've seen them over at Armageddon. So we're going to look at getting some of those. So hopefully that goes all, that's all sorted, and so we'll have that there as well. So like I said, if you even sell cards, right? If you sell trading cards, this is where we're at. So think about that. If you want to grow your business, and if you're part of the pop culture community, and if you want to grow your business, if you're part of the comic book and pop culture, I should say, and if you want to grow your business, and if you want to show people what you're doing, if you want to put yourself out there, but you're shy, get someone who's actually wants to be is excited about is a fan of your work. Give them a couple bucks and say, hey, look, can you sit at the table and promote my stuff? Right? I'll walk around. If you got any questions, come and talk to me. But hey, so think about being part of the community, and think about how to involve yourself in the community, because it's important to show where we're heading, like towards 2020. It's at 2022 with Hunter Vaza. With hey, shout out to Hihi Awa. I'm so excited for Hihi Awa for the event center. Man, that was amazing. That's up. Thank you to everyone, man, for putting that on. That was such a cool thing. I was only there for a little bit at the end of the day because I had to get this done, and so I had to I dragged myself away from this because it was just taking so much effort to get it done and consume so much of my time on it. But I've learned. I've upskilled myself in this area. So level up, right? Beat the boss. Okay, so please, thank you. I'm gonna, if you want to support us financially, jump on board our Pledge Me. All right, either buy a ticket or jump on Pledge Me. Okay, so we can cover our costs. We can make sure that we're not, we don't get left with any debt out there for putting all this event on. Come to the show. The best way to help us is to come to the show. Bring your friends, bring your family, share it, and be there. Because at the end of the day, to make something happen, you got to be at it, right? You can build it, but if nobody's coming, you can't do a second one. And I'm really excited because I know the second one's going to take off because we already have people wanting to come to the second one, right? Which is really exciting for me. So I'm already excited about the second one, but of course, I could get the first one done. And that's why we do it small. And so I'm quite getting back to me. Thank you to Georgia and the team. I think it's Company of Giants and the WDC for making 116 available to us, for the whole day, really. And the reason for the whole day and the evening is because we're trying to get sorted for this thing, Sunspot. Oh, hopefully you can see it. Yep, the magazine is backwards. Sorry, guys, mirror image. So we're releasing the Sunspot magazine on that night. And now we're trying to finalize some stuff with that because it's an R18 event, which means alcohol will be involved, and we're trying to make sure that we do it in a safe way and that we do it in a way because it's a fundraiser. So we want to make a bit of money towards the printing costs because it's a nice glossy magazine, and it showcases our local talent, our national talent, and our global talent. And some of them you guys have met, the ones that we've interviewed. So let me just finish off with talking about Sunspot. Sunspot is a 64-page that includes the front cover and back cover, right? Comic book and pop culture magazine, which means there's comics in it, short comic books. There's interviews in it. There is reviews in it, which is quite minimal because I kind of always sort of go overcast reviews. I love interviews and articles. So a lot of that involved with Sunspot. So it's 64 glossy pages basically, right? And I'm quite excited. So having that come out and we're going to do Indiegogo for that as well, because we're going to make do about 5 different covers for it, 5 different cover variants of it, because there's so many things I love about it. It's our first one, and so there's a comic book cover. There's our original cover. There is just a complete no title cover. There's a cosplay cover. There's the Plunge cover that we're getting specially redesigned just for the magazine. 7 is doing that. We've got Scotty Watson, who's one of our speakers at Plunge, who's just joined up with Rise and Stone Comics as running their US division. He's also one of the speakers. So, I've asked him to do a special cover for the magazine. We do Indiegogo. So, yeah, there's so much exciting things we're doing. And like I said, it's promoting our local and national comic book and pop culture people. So there's articles about cosplay, articles about cosplay photography, cosplayers, and because this was a special cosplay edition, and because the last year or so I've just finding a lot about it, and also enjoying a lot about cosplay and the different areas. So yeah, as well as gaming, and there as well, there's an article with Verena about her and her travels and her interests and her area expertise, which is she did this whole she translates Warhammer 40K into German from English, so she reads a lot. So she talks about her work and how it's brought her all the way to New Zealand, and her interests, as well as a lot of people don't realize that a lot of what we do in New Zealand excites a lot of people overseas, and they come. So I've got to stop touching this. Sorry. We also got an interview with Sonia. She's a world class. Seriously, she's a world class cosplayer, and she's very passionate about that. She does it as a competition, and we got an interview with her. And she came to New Zealand because she loves Xena, right? and so she got to see New Zealand because of her love for Xena, and etc. So yeah. So like I said, we also have local interviews as well. So I'm quite excited, and there's 2 of us who were working on this. Actually, there was 3 of us, but there's two of us mainly working on this. There's Ayla Miller, who's our assistant editor, and myself as the main editor and designer. And so, yeah, there's a lot. Like I said, it's all about keeping things local and going global with it, telling our stories. Well, Plunge is basically about our stories our way. And so, as well as helping local people and national people get into a global arena, and having that, being able to do that through Rise and Stone Comics. And so, thank you guys. Usually don't like talking for a long time about, well, I do actually, because I think long discussions are good because it gets a whole lot of things out. It makes things a bit more clear. So once again, and we're gonna have next after July, we're looking at doing a whole lot more on YouTube around comics and stuff. So as well as interviews and etc. So thank you for all our community supporters. Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you for all our vendors. Thank you for the community. As I mentioned, all our key sponsors who have been amazing to us, and also our sponsors who have come across and given us, package, items to hand out, or items to for spot prizes, and as well as for raffles. Because at the end of the day, we really can't do it without the community support, because that helps us keep the cost low, right? And so hopefully, in a few years, we'll be able to pay for all that, and be able to be self-sufficient. But right now, we're relying on the community to do it. So you guys, we're relying on you guys to do it, right? To get the word out. We have 700 followers, over 750 followers, on this page, right, on Comic Trade. So if you guys get word out to one more person, that's 1,400 people know about it. And again, so on. So please share and let me know what you think in the comments, because at the end of the day, if there's any questions you need answers to, please ask. And I know the biggest is right now is cosplay and weaponry and dress. Look, at the end of the day, you yourself know what's best, right? We're going to have a table, we're going to check weapons or whatever to make sure everything's cool. But at the end of the day, as a cosplayer, you've spent hours, right, and weeks sometimes, or months, on making one of these things. And, you know, I'm going to paint this, but making something like this. So you know what, you don't want to come and be saying, look, sorry, you can't bring that in. So please be mindful if you're coming in dressed up in cosplay with weapons and what they look like, and just make it clear so people around you doesn't get scared. I mean, I carry an umbrella around that looks like a katana. So I have had to put orange paint on it so that people could say, oh, okay, that's not a weapon. So be mindful, all right, of all that. And also be mindful there's going to be young kids, a lot more young kids than you, hopefully, than you see elsewhere in conventions, because it is a family event, right? Because we really want to make it about that as well. Oh, the other thing, like I said, we're going to have an after event for all the adults and grown-ups over 18 to come to, as a bit of a fundraiser for, like I said, for the printing for Sunspot. So, and also to hang out afterwards, man, to just have a drink and just chill with your friends, right? And just say, hey, we had a good day today. Let's hang out with the vendors. Let's hang out with the, you know, people who are like-minded. Because at the end of the day, all this is about is making a bigger impact for what we're into and enjoying it and making new friends. Because that's the way you grow a community. That's the way you grow into wider understanding what we do. And so you bring other people into it. You know, if you're into LARP, if you're into Magic the Gathering, there's going to be tables there for Magic the Gathering. There's, you know, so jump on a table and start playing. You know, it's all about just making the event as friendly and as awesome as enjoyable as possible. So thank you guys, and please share the Plunge event as well. Share the Pledge Me link. Share the Sunspot link. And share the event finder link, please. That's going to be all posted down here. Thank you so much for your support. And I know I get a lot of support from the community. And this is my way of giving back as well. Because like I said last year, I don't have to be doing any of this. I can just carry on just making comics. And it takes a lot of toll on my body, but, you know, with my chronic pain and where I am mentally and physically. So I do it because I enjoy it. First of all, I love this stuff, and because I want to give back. And I think it's really cool to be able to enjoy something and be able to include other people in it. And yeah, that's what I loved about the shop. It was just being part of something, and then it was like, wow, this is more than me. You know, so you end up having people actually running game, you know, or helping out running the shop, because it's more about having other people involved in it that makes it more valuable to you as a person than just being a business, right? And yeah, hopefully we'll get back to that someday. But right now, Plunge, right? 2019. So thank you so much, guys. I know I tend to waffle sometimes, but I just wanted to make sure to let you know we're all up to date. Everything's cool. 3 weeks out. We're going to be posting some videos by people who are going to be speaking in the next couple of weeks, running up to Punch. So, and this week we're going to be in town. I'll put a post out that we're going to be handing out stickers, and if you have one of those stickers, you'll get free entry, or your family will get free entry. Or you get the 3 painted packages, prints, free, all 3 of the prints, right? So yeah, so that's going to be in the Strand. So it's going to be after school. So, you know, I'll let you know when we're going to do it on the time when we're there. So we're going to be live stream that. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support I get from the community. Appreciate my friends. And I appreciate my family. Right? Because at the end of the day, you need that base. You need all three of those bases: friends, family, friends, and community. And that keeps you going. That keeps you excited about what you're doing and happy about life. And you know, you got to get out there and be involved in your community. Whatever your interests are, find it. It's here in Whangarei, right? There's someone out there that loves what you do and is already doing it. And come to this event, and you'll find out that that's what they're into, and you'll make friends through it. Thank you so much. Ka kite anō.